English from Popodoo Smart English Thanh Hải Dương.
I'm the thinnest team, the leader.
I'm the cutest Cole.
And my name is Leo.
I know that when I say I love to learn about history, most of you will be like, oh, me too. But when I say I'm good at history, it will be another story. You instantly think that. How can he remember the dates of all the events in the years in the past? Am I right?
I've got the same idea. It's like we are all fascinated when we hear a good story from the past, whether it's about the way people used to live or how empires were built. But when it comes to history tests, it's like we can't handle the dates.
I love history too. My great-grandfather has told me a lot of history stories. And he always reminds me like, you and your generation are not supposed to forget our history. Tons of people sacrifice their lives to protect Vietnam and their future. You guys never, ever forget them. And be sure to pass it on to the next generation.
We all think this is important to study history at school. Firstly, it helps us to avoid repeated mistakes as long as we learn our lesson from it. For example, Little Cat took advantage of Nhung Nguyệt River and beat Tống army in a similar way Ngô Quyền did with Bạch Đằng River.
Secondly, I think history helps us to develop critical thinking. It's not like we all won every single battle. We did lose a lot of them. Our teacher always asks for our opinion both on our win and our failure. That's how we learn to analyze information.
Lastly, history helps us prepare for our future. You can imagine history is like our parents and we are like the future. They are able to make rice, but were not. How can we survive without rice? Cannot. It's the same with the relationship between history and future.
Don't worry about date and time. If not, and it can be a burden to our memory. It's okay not to remember the exact time of past events.
Yes, and I think history should be taught in the form of story so that it could never be forgotten.
Our message to you is, love history and will be love your family, your country and people more.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.